Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the crazy, insane pricing of a bunch of restaurants in this country. Specifically, we're going to mention Five Guys because I actually went there today with a friend who actually paid for me to eat some food there. Pay for my meals, what it was, because they were also my ride to some appointments I had today, is what it was. But yeah, like it's just, man, I'll tell you what, like it's just outrageous. It's outrageous how much they're charging for some of the stuff, man. And I mean, you're not even getting a whole bunch for it either, man. Like that's the biggest problem, right? So it just, I just don't, I just don't see the justification how much stuff costs anymore, dude. In these places. Now, granted, that being said, depending on what you're talking about, because I was looking at, there were some dudes bitching and moaning on Twitter/X the other day about food prices at different restaurants and stuff like that. Specifically, it was Panera. And the thing about that is, like, what they were talking about was like this little fruit cup thing. And it's like, yeah, the thing about that is that you're paying for the convenience of, someone else like making your food for you, which technically you are, Five Guys too, for that matter. But again, like it should not justify a fucking thing of fries that literally come like this many fucking fries in a little cup like this should not be like $6 something, even if it comes with like, two or three other things in the bag that would be enough to like refill it twice. Like that's not $6 worth of food, dude. That's like maybe $4 worth of food, honestly. And what's even crazier is because this is the regular fry they have up there, by the way. The smaller one was like half of this size cup, and that's what my my sister's friend got that took me to this place today, is what it was. And yeah, hers was like $5 something too, and I'm just like, how in the fuck? Because I think this cup, if I'm not mistaken, was like $6.50 or almost $7 or something like that. And then the burger I got, which came in specifically this tinfoil right here, and was about maybe the size of a Whopper, honestly. Maybe not even that big, actually. It was like the same kind of like sesame bun, though. It was baked probably like yay big. It was the small burger is what it was there. The patty was like this fucking thick, basically. Like it was like damn paper thin almost is what it was, dude. And then it had some pickles and some ketchup on it. And that was almost $7 fucking. And I'm like, how the fuck is like, because I'm thinking like $7 burger. I'm like, oh, it's better be a big old fucking like good burger. It's like, nah, dude, it's like fucking jack shit. I'm just like, I don't know how people can justify going out to eat anymore, dude. I really don't. This is the first time I personally was out to eat, legitimately a sit-down restaurant, in over a year. I know that for a fact, because the last time I went was like, actually, sorry, it would have been about 18 months ago, because it was summer of last year was the last time I went out to eat with some family. And again, one of those people were paying for it then. And that's the only reason I was able to eat there is what it was, because I'm not paying for that crazy high inflated shit myself is what it is, man. But yeah, it's just like, it just blows my mind, honestly, dude. Like how anybody can sit there and justify the price of like almost all the shit going around the thing. And again, I believe truthfully a lot of it has to do with the economy, but there's also other factors as well on top of that as well, where you have pieces of shit like Biden basically fucking with our economy so much so that it's going to be like this crazy inflation going on everywhere. And manipulation, everything else like that is what it'll be as well on top of that. So I think some of it has to do with that, but I think more to the point, a lot more of it has to do with the fact that you just have just like everything going on where it's, you have these morons in positions of power right now who are fucking with our industries is what it is, dude. And they're creating like, and not to mention the fact we've had, how many different plants have blown up in the last, year or two now that have been food processing plants. And who knows if it's not that, honestly, because it could be that entirely. But the thing about it is, though, it's like, yeah, like you're talking about legitimately. You have a cup, some fucking potatoes that you're cutting up and throwing some fucking oil in a fryer and frying them, and you're charging $6. Like, that's insane, dude. Like, I get you're paying employees, but like, goddamn, dude, like, it's just something else, man. I'll tell you what. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, again, when you go back and look at different things here, what you're actively talking about is you're talking about people who have, in some cases, it is the worker base, because it's these workers or people in this industry or whatever the case be that have now gone to the point of being like, well, I think I'm worth like $17.50 an hour, or I think I'm worth $27.50 an hour, whatever it is, you know. And you have places like California now that are doing, you know, $20+ an hour for minimum wage and stuff like that, versus other places who are like, no, bro, like, fuck your minimum wage is what it is. We're just gonna make a robot place. I mean, hell, there's that one in Texas. It's a McDonald's entirely run by like 2 robots. It's like a robot to do the actual ordering system stuff, and there's a robot in the back to like make all the shit is what it is there. And then meanwhile, those same places, those same McDonald's places and stuff like that in Connecticut are charging, I think it was like $18 or $20 for a fucking Big Mac meal, dude. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you fucking serious with this shit right now? Like, come on, man. Like, there's no way. There's no fucking way, bro. And even like the drinks they had at that place, it was like, I think $2.98 or $2.89 or something like that for a fucking drink. And that was the smaller end of the drinks, but yeah, we got free refills on those, obviously, which is good. But even still, it's like, that still seems overpriced to me, honestly, for what you're paying for there. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how anybody could justify going out to eat on a regular basis anymore right now. And I think that's the whole point, is most people aren't. And so what you're having is you're having places like, you know, where Honda works, where he's lucky if he can get like a party as a shift every once in a while is what it is there. And that's why he didn't do his chat last night. And that's why I was going to do a takeover chat. And unfortunately, I do apologize for that. I didn't do one last night. My left eye, legitimately, about an hour or so before that chat was going to start, I don't know what was going on with it. It just kept like flickering off like crazy. And it was like, it kept wanting to like shut and then go open again. And like, it was just like I don't know if I have like an eye infection going on or what the hell's going on with it, dude. But like, or if I got something caught in it last night, maybe, or something. But yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. And yeah, so there was no way in hell I was doing that chat last night with the way my eye was feeling. And I'm glad I didn't, because I ended up just going to sleep not longer after that is what it was. And then, yeah, I just took a really good respite then for the rest of the night is what it was there. So, but anyway, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, crazy high food inflation. So, but yeah, I was watching this thing on Twitter X the other day, whatever we call it now, where it was this dude talking about this little fruit cup that was legit, probably like about this big by comparison to what I have in my hand right now, and there was like 7 pieces of fruit in the whole fucking thing, dude. It was like a piece of pineapple, a couple pieces of like cantaloupe, a grape as one of the things, and I think it was like a piece of honeydew and then like something else or something in there. And these people at Panera Bread were charging $4.50 for that cup, dude. And I'm just like, well, I mean, you're paying for convenience, but at the same time, like, yeah, that is kind of fucking outrageous, honestly, if you think about it logistically speaking. Because it should be like a couple bucks at most. And even then, I would say a couple bucks at most in a major city. Like any place else, it should be like $1, basically. So, yeah, it fucking blows my mind, honestly, how you have these companies that think they're going to survive, dude. And it seems like a lot of it is chain places too. Like that's one thing I've realized lately is when you start looking into a lot of it is very much like chain restaurants and like chain eateries and things like that is what it is. Where it's people that will sit there and be like, oh yeah, this is totally worth like, you know, $17.50 or whatever it is, and it's like, no, it's really fucking not. So yeah. And then of course, you know, you go to grocery stores anymore and you can barely afford to fill your cart. If you can afford to fill your cart at all, depending on where you're living, you know, because that's another thing too, by the way. It's not only, you know, the shrinkflation, it's the inflation. And then of course you have the depending on where you're living too, It's the ability to even go out there and get anything, honestly, without having to go get an attendant with you. I know Honda has been talking about that quite a bit on his chats lately, about how he has to go, if he wants to go to a Walmart or something like that and pick up a couple items, it's basically like you literally have to have like one of their employees stand with you just to grab everything is what it is there, because it's all behind glass now. And again, I was talking to this person that gave me a ride today to my appointment here is what it was. And I was talking to her about that. And I was like, yeah, and you'll notice it's a lot of these Democrat-run states and stuff like that have incentivized massive looting and massive theft is what it is there, where they won't prosecute if it's like under $1,000 or under $750, whatever it is there. And then you wonder why you have so many fucking gangs of people going out there of one particular race, by the way, and I will bring up racial actually for a minute, because it's always usually black males and females for that matter, who are stealing shit, dude. And not exclusively, obviously, but major cities, it seems like it's a lot more of these people that are doing that stuff, honestly. And there's also, I've seen several videos of like Latinos and stuff like that doing it too. And there's a handful of like really like meth head looking white people that do the shit too as well on top of that, dude. But like, yeah, I would say like 90-ish%, give or take, of all the fucking looting happens with minorities of black persuasion is what it is there. So, and again, you're incentivizing criminality. And what's even more fucked up is I was watching a video, I think it was either last night or this morning, and it was this dude talking about in California there, where a lot of this isn't so incentivized as what it is there to be criminals and shit and loot everything blind, basically. He was saying how apparently you will have people who will go into these places, steal everything off the fucking shelves, and then turn around and go like 1 block north or 1 block south, wherever it is, put up a fucking table and throw everything on the table now for sale of what they fucking stole. And it's like, dude, the fucking audacity and just the just sheer, just in your face criminality is just beyond reproach at this point. It really fucking is. It's like, really, bro, like, at least have the decency to, I don't know, take it someplace else, man. Take it a few blocks over or something, for God's sakes. Not just make it like so, like, blatantly like, oh yeah, look at all the shit I stole like 10 minutes ago. Oh, it's all for sale now. It's all stolen though. It's like, come on, man. And it does make you wonder, like, who's buying this shit, honestly, dude. Because there are people out there that are buying that stuff off these streets, is what it is right now. Because it's the only place they can find it, obviously. Because it's all been stolen from the fucking actual different places, is what it is there. And then you wonder why a Walmart or a Target or a Best Buy or whatever the hell it is that you're stealing from, or whatever, or some grocery chain or whatever it is there. You wonder why these places close up shop in your shithole neighborhoods like 6 months later, 8 months later, a year later, whatever it is. Because they can't physically afford to remain in business while all of their merchandise is being stolen off the fucking shelves, is what it is, man. And then you got these same idiots, they'll sit there and bitch about food deserts and be like, I don't understand why there's no place to go shopping in my neighborhood now. Oh, I don't know, Tyrone, why didn't you think about that when you're stealing everything, motherfucker? Or if it's not Tyrone that's the one saying it, it's, some other bitch out there, whatever the case be bitching about it. It's like, well, maybe you should blame Tyrone's ass down the fucking street, who's been stealing all this shit for the past year, you dumb bitch. And until you're going to call his fucking criminal ass out by name, then fuck you too, is what it is. Yeah, it's fucking irritating as hell, man. It really is. I don't know, though. Today was weird, though. The appointment I had, they were doing a bunch of range of motion stuff on me is what it is there. And they didn't really say one way or another if I was in good standing of motion or bad standing of motion, but it sounded like, depending on some of the numbers, my motion is definitely not good in certain joints and stuff like that. It makes sense. I mean, hell, you could look at my fucking fingers right here, man, and see the actual arthritic issues in my fucking fingers is what it is. And then people wonder why I can't build out my own AR lowers is what it is, man, because it's like, yeah, my fucking joints are in such pain constantly. I barely have enough strength to even press down, for God's sakes, let alone like, hold something down and like under spring tension for X amount of time. So, yeah, it's just not good, man. It sucks. Let me put it that way. I hate it. Fucking sucks really bad. I really wish my shit wasn't as broken as it is right now, and it'd be nice to have something better, but, you know. Actually, that was one interesting thing when I was doing the little, I was filling out the chart and stuff like that, because they were talking about, like, it was interesting because they were saying stuff about, like, drugs or whatever, and then they were talking about, like, drug stuff in the chart of, like, painkillers and things like that. And, like, the problem was they had, like, things where it's like, oh, you might want to fill out more than one of these, but only fill out one of these things. And it's like, well, I'm not sure which one to fill out here on some of this. So it's like, you know, like, which one do I really fill out kind of thing is what it is there. And then I started filling out some of the ones that it was then. And it's just like, yeah, some of the shit was very odd. And then other stuff was just like, it almost seemed like some of the stuff could have been considered like almost like drug seeking behavior kind of like gotcha questions, I guess is what I'd say on that one. But at the same vein of things, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it's like, yeah, you're constantly in, you know, agony, and maybe this would help you or something like that. And I don't think a lot of it would, honestly, personally. I think for me personally, it's, you know, I've tried some of that shit anyway, and it's just like, yeah, it's not great, man. Anyway, but yeah, like definitely for sure, like some of the things that I've personally experienced, it's just like, you know, the inflammation, the joints, and everything else like that, and just the arthritis and everything else. It's just like sort of when is enough kind of thing. And then it was interesting because this dude was saying like, oh yeah, you know, have you experienced depression with all this stuff? And it's like, how can you not, man? Like, you know, you're in constant pain and agony every. I mean, hell, I'm just sitting here right now talking. I'm in fucking constant pain, dude. So it's like, yeah, you're in constant pain and agony. Like, how am I not supposed to feel like shit? You know, that's kind of a stupid oxymoronic question to ask me, really. So, anyway, I don't know anymore, man. I think we're all fucked anyway. It's only a matter of time before things just start getting way, way worse. It's like I was telling this woman today that was my driver for the day about, you know, how bad off we truly are and how much worse it could actually get and stuff like that. And she was like, how much worse could it get? And I'm just like, well, you know, we could always have food gangs next year and like people doing like food rioting and shit. And it's like, yeah, it's not good, man. It really isn't. And I think, unfortunately, we are very, very close to that happening in this nation that nobody really wants to talk about it. So, yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before the experiment that was the United States of America is going to be coming to a crumbling end. And unfortunately, it's by design. And I don't think it's just going to be America. I think it's going to be a lot of first world nations in this world that we'll see fall to the same fate as what it is, because you have a bunch of asshole fucking criminals, straight up pieces of shit, the powers that should not be that are, just fucking people over. And unfortunately, the longer you allow stuff like that to happen, the longer you allow stuff like that to procure and, you know, continue to percolate and et cetera, there, like the worse it's going to get. So, but on the bright side of things, a piece of legislation that I've been working on, I've been working on aspects of it, obviously, not the legislation itself that's about to be potentially going through our General Assembly right now, but I was at the forefront 4 years ago when we started talking about two-way sanctuary, and I've been fighting for that ever since here in the state of Ohio. And as of tomorrow, there is a very real possibility of Ohio getting second reservation through our state house and possibly state senate for that matter before the end of the General Assembly for the year. So I fucking hope so. I really fucking hope so. I fully support the Ohio Gunners version of the bill. And I think it's going to be better off for everybody. Yes, you did. We talked about it the first 10 minutes of the show. So, anyway. But yeah, needless to say, it's a whole bunch of stuff, man. Like, it's just craziness. And I think I really hope Ohio can get it done, honestly, man. I would love to see this state become a 2A sanctuary and finally tell the federal government to go fuck itself. Stop trying to steal our gun rights and stuff. I would love to see our state reps here actually get off their ass and do some kind of Graham Act for gun rights and marijuana. But unfortunately, they haven't done that yet. And I'm not sure how that would actually work because it's, state law versus federal law. And, technically, federal law says that fucking weed is a Schedule 1 narcotic when it fucking shouldn't be, which is so fucking stupid. So, anyways. But, yeah, it is a whole thing. But anyway. But yeah, needless to say, like, yeah, food is definitely one of these things where, again, going back to the whole like chain restaurant stuff, it's a situation where it seems like it's a lot of the chain places, whether it be your local fast food places, your McDonald's, your Wendy's, your Arby's, etc. There, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, etc. Or whether it be, like a Five Guys or maybe like a Red Robin or something like that, where they'll do like a slow increase of their prices and stuff like that. And then you have these higher end places that somebody was mentioning, like a high end steakhouse or whatever, like what is that called, like Chris Ruth's or whatever it is, that'll pretty much stay across the board, about the same pricing. And it makes sense because obviously those prices are already like crazily inflated and stuff like that. And yeah, the guy who I was referencing earlier that was on the bitching about it on Twitter/X there, he was mentioning how he had taken his wife to, I forget what it was, like a high-end steakhouse or something like that was like a steak and seafood platter combo thing, whatever it was there. And it was drinks, which when you say drinks, I assume you mean alcoholic drink or something like that is what it would be then. Like wine or like a beer or mixed drink, whatever it is. And then dessert was all included in the money, and it was like $250 or something like that for the two of them. And I'm just like, that's still a lot of fucking money, dude. Like, especially somebody poor for me and stuff like that, dude. Like, you give me $250, you know what I'm gonna do with that money? I'm gonna go to the local gun shop. I'm gonna buy a fucking gun, man, because that's enough to buy a gun. Actually, several different guns at that price. I could go buy myself another Taurus handgun. I can go buy a shotgun. I can go buy a bunch of different stuff, man, for that kind of money. So yeah, no chance in hell I'm spending $250 on a single fucking date out with a, significant other for that matter, dude. Unless I'm making like $100K plus a year at that point, then. And even then, it'd be, wouldn't even be $100K a year. It'd be like 7 figures, like $1 million a year or something like that. Then. So yeah, like it really does kind of make me wonder about some people's priorities and stuff like that, where it's like you're spending like this much on this thing or whatever the case be, and it's like, okay. On the flip side of that coin, what are you actually doing to prep? What are you actually doing to, prepare for any kind of like grid down or any kind of other, emergency disaster, black swan event kind of thing is what it is. And it seems like a lot of those people, they don't prepare for that stuff. Their preparation is like, oh, I'm going to go to that guy's house that has a bunch of fucking prep stuff and a bunch of guns, etc. And it's like, yeah, and you know what that person's going to tell you when you show up there? Get the fuck off my property at gunpoint. And that's what's going to happen there, dude. Like, legitimately. Or it might just be a shot being fired, actually, for that matter, in many cases, depending on how the grid falls and stuff like that. Like, it might not even be them telling you to get the fuck off the property. It might just be them being like, bang, So, anyway. But yeah, I've had a lot of people over the years, say that kind of stuff about different things to different people and stuff like that. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this thing or that thing, whatever the case be. And it's like, you've had people now more recently tell them like, you best be bringing like a 6-month supply of shit with you, bro, if you're going to be doing that stuff. So Anyway, but yeah, it's just it's fucking nuts to me, dude. It really is. Like, it's just like I feel like we're definitely on the precipice of something right now. And whether it be like actually and having inflation cause like food gangs and food riots and stuff like that, like who knows? Again, I think only time will tell on that one. I could see that happening honestly by summer of this coming year then. Especially depending on how much they want to disrupt the 2024 election cycle is what it is then. Because you have to think about it from this perspective of things, right? It's not just the presidency that we're actually voting for in 2024. There's a lot of governor's races that are coming up here in the next, 10 months or so, give or take, to where you're going to have a lot of people determined to either be a new governor or be running for re-election or whatever the case be in these states. So, yeah, you pretty much potentially see the federal government suspending elections more or less if they want to go that route. They would be suspending both federal elections and state elections for that matter, because you'd have governors races, you would have state rep races, you'd have all these things, dude, federal representation, etc. Whoever your rep is right now, dude, like you would hope you like them if that be the case, because they're going to be your rep for the next couple of years, and if that be the case, then well, all that shit goes down. So, yeah, it's just wild to me, man. But like I was saying, though, it is bothersome to see these places where you'll go and they'll charge, $6, $7, $8 for a literal cup of fries, basically, that may have some extra, thrown in the bag with it and stuff like that. But it's still like for something that should be like half that price, give or take, or maybe like 3/4 of that price, if that be the case, then. So it'd be like 4 to 6 instead of, 7, 8, whatever it is there. But yeah, it's wild to me, man. It really is. And I mean, yeah, Five Guys is some good fries, obviously, but like at the same time, it's just like they're not, $5, $6, $7, $8 good is what it is, dude. Like where I could literally go to if I really wanted to do this, I would go to a store, buy a fucking jar of vegetable oil or something, or not jar, but like a jug, and then actually, technically, the only things I really need for that, well, you can do it a couple different ways. You can do it in your own skillets and stuff like that at home, but you could also do it as buying an actual fry cooker from like a Walmart or a Target or something like that. So it'd be you buy the fry maker thing, which would be X amount of dollars for that, and then you buy a bag of potatoes and some fucking cooking oil, and that's all you need, honestly, to make that shit. And yeah, you could have almost the exact same thing at home and probably more for the price that they'd be charging you. So, but like I said, I'm glad I didn't pay for this, honestly. But for the woman who did, I thank her on that one, dude, because she didn't have to, honestly. she could have been like, nope, sorry. And that is why I went for the smaller options too, because I could have gone for like a larger burger that would have been like another, I don't even know. I'm trying to remember what their prices were now. I know the small burger I got was like almost $7, and I think the larger one was like $8.50 or $9, something like that. Which I think the only thing you're getting for another $2 is like another patty on top of it or whatever. Then, so yeah, for what you're getting, it's not worth it, man, at all. So, anyway, and that burger wasn't even that good. I guess I maybe should have said to make it well done then, because I think they made it like meaty, like probably like medium or like a little less than medium if that be the case. Because there was definitely it definitely felt like it was almost barely cooked, honestly. Like when I was eating it, and it was like, yeah, this is okay, but not great. And I think if I had it made to my specific specifications or whatever, when it came to like the cooking process, I probably could have had a better tasting burger then. So, and actually, in that same way of things, because I noticed with the burgers and stuff, because they have like the regular size and they have like the small size, what it is there, and the difference between a hamburger, a cheeseburger, and a bacon burger, you had the small hamburger, like I said, was almost $7. The cheese one was like I think 8 something, and then the bacon one was like almost $9.50 or something crazy like that. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And I've had that before, and they don't put a whole lot of bacon on. They put a couple strips at most, dude. And it's like, there is no way that they can justify like $2 more for some fucking couple bacon strips, dude. Like that's ridiculous. Like I know bacon's expensive these days, But shit, man, I can still go to the fucking store and get a whole pack of bacon for like $5.50, $6 in most places. At least where I'm at anyway. I don't know about other people. I'm sure it's probably a little bit more than that even, especially if you live in major cities and stuff like that. That's one of the things we were talking about in the car ride going up there today, was how the difference in food prices between outside of a major city and then in a major city is what it is. And like where we were at, the place that we had gone to get this stuff, it was I would consider it to be like the upskirt of Canton, basically. Like the upper area of Canton there, which is still sort of downtrodden, but even still, it's like, it's still a little bit more than it would be like locally, I think is what it is there. And then if you would go to Columbus and get the same thing, it'd probably be like a couple dollars more than if that'd be the case. Or like a Canton or a Cleveland or Cincinnati or something like that, maybe. It'd be about $2-3 inflation on there if that'd be the case then. So, and the same thing with everything else for that matter. Because I remember when I was living in Columbus back in 2010, 11, someplace in there, and you had it was trying to remember now the pricing of stuff. Yeah, it was for what I could buy here locally, it was like $3 or $4 more in a major city for the exact same thing. And I was like, why is this so expensive? Because I can never get it begin with this. I'm like, why is this so expensive? And like thinking about it, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. Because you're actively paying for all this shit to be shipped into the area is what it is. And that's what it is. You're basically paying for all the shipping cost of stuff that people don't realize is like all that hidden tax, if you will. Sorry, I had to go do something real quick before I forgot to do it here. But yeah, you're basically paying for this like hidden taxation is basically what it is, to where you have people who are, damn, I forgot we're taking this robber camp again. Whatever. So be I couldn't go back there anyway to do it. Doesn't matter. So. But anyway, so yeah, basically what you're doing is you're what was I saying now? Yeah, you're paying for the convenience of having food shipped into a major city, or retail shipped into a major city, whatever it is. Like clothing is the same way for that matter. Like if you're buying like clothes off of a rack, or whatever the case be, like they're being shipped in by truck or train or whatever it is there, and you're paying for those train fuel costs or those truck fuel costs, whatever it is there. So in some ways I could see like in a major city stuff being more expensive, but like out here in like the small towns and stuff, dude, where it's literally I could go to a fucking literal field and pick off a fucking ear of corn and take it with me if I wanted to. Like, nah, bro. Like, if I go to a fucking local place, like an ear of corn or some corn or whatever the case be, shouldn't be like $3-4 for a fucking bowl of corn, or like a side little dish container of corn or something like that. That's what it is then. Like, that's just insane. I'm not saying that's what it is, obviously, but you get the point I'm trying to make. That's what it is. So, or even going out into the field and like ripping up some fucking potatoes and shit like that and taking them with me, and like, yeah, it shouldn't be fucking $6 for a damn cup of fries, honestly. So, I don't know, man. What can you do? Except not really, what you call it, these establishments, I guess, would be until they would lower costs, would it be then? Which is interesting, actually, because when we were in there today, because it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we went up there to do that today. And when we got in there, there was, I think, about 4 tables of people there. So it was like, it seemed like it was a lot of couples, actually. So it was like it was basically like 2 college guys were in there munching on some stuff. You had a couple women that are coming after us to get something. There was a family of, I think it was like mom, dad, grandma, and then like a couple small kids. And then as we were sitting there, like a couple more people came in, and there was like another small group of people, of like 3 or 4 people then, and then there was another group of guys on the other side that were probably having like lunch before they went back to go to work, whatever it was there. And yeah, I would say there's probably about 8 to 10 sets of people in there, including us then. So it's not like they weren't doing like some decent business for the day, just at that period of time, honestly. And there was a couple people that left as we were going in too, for that matter. So yeah, overall it's probably like 12, give or take, in that time span of like the 40 minutes or so. But even still, it's like, you know, I don't know. I just don't think it justifies the price, honestly. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It like I said, it's one of these situations where people who, you know, over time they have sat there and been like, oh yeah, you know, I used to go eat out like X amount of time, whatever the case. We haven't done that in you know, a little while, whatever. Then, and then you got people like me who could barely afford to go eat out, who, if we go there that one time, shit, man, just for that one meal alone, could be, you know, a fifth or a sixth of our fucking food budget for the entire month then. Like, it's that crazy, honestly. So that's what I don't understand, is like how people can sit there and be like, oh, I'm not going to cook my own food tonight. I'm going to go out there and buy something. I'm going to go out there to a restaurant and get something, or whatever the case be. It's like, how are you affording this? And that's the one thing I never understood about the Walmart employees too, by the way, my mom used to work with back in the day. And a lot of people have quit since then, is what it is. But yeah, a lot of these people would go out there, and every single fucking day, they would be like, okay, I'm going to go to the local place over here and go buy a fucking lunch from someplace out, you know, in that hour time span or whatever it is there. Or they would go to the deli or whatever it is there, and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to go buy some stuff from the deli today. And it's like, you know, like a little pack of chicken bite things, or whatever the case being, maybe some fucking, I'm trying to think what else they sold there, like some potato salad or something like that. And that was like $7, $8, $10 or something like that, dude. Even back then. And they were doing that shit every single day. And it's like, and then you wonder why you don't have any money when it's all said and done, dude. Like, you're literally paying the place you're working at to eat your meal there, when you could easily buy a couple things from that grocery store that you're working at and make your own lunches at your house, get a fucking bag to bring that shit in, and then bring it in there, is what it is. Yeah, it just blows me away, honestly, in some cases, like how these people can justify stuff like that, man. And it really does bother me, honestly, because it's like, and then these are the same people that will sit there and be like, you know, going off on another rant here for a minute. These are the same people that will sit there and be like, I don't understand why our economy is such shit after this fucking douchebag got into place. It's like, well, who'd you vote for in the last election cycle? Oh, I didn't vote at all because it's not even really worth it to vote anymore. You're dumb. And you have nothing to complain about then. Like, that's the entire... You can't fix fucking stupid, man. That's really what it is the other day. These people are walking NPCs, for God's sakes, anymore, it seems like. In many cases, man. It's like I was telling this woman that was giving me the ride today about how you have all these people going and doing those pro-Palestine marches and stuff now. And it's all these gay and trans people that are doing this shit and being like, yeah, Palestine should be free, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, you realize if you went over to that country being gay, trans, etc., they would literally fucking drop a building on top of you because they fucking hate you. Like, that's the problem with these people, dude. They are so not even self-aware at all. They have zero self-awareness at all, for that matter, that they are actively funding their own fucking demise in many cases. And it just blows me away, honestly. And I'm just like, and why are you still on American soil now? Oh, yeah, that's right, because you know that your bitch ass can say that stuff here in a freedom of speech and not be murked out, where if you went overseas, you'd be fucking murked out in 5 seconds or less. So, anyway, I was actually watching that War Horse 1 movie the other day. From it's about Biden's 2021 failed pullout and this soldier guy trying to save this little girl after the fact. That's what it is there. It wasn't bad, but you could tell it was definitely low quality. Like it was that Johnny Strong guy that did Daylight's End, and he was in the first Fast and Furious movie too. And it was him basically as a soldier guy and stuff. And like I actually like that guy as an actor quite a bit actually, and that's the main reason I was watching that movie. The thing about that is though, like you could tell like it more or less had about the same budget, if not just slightly lesser budget than the movie Daylight's End did, and it really showed. Honestly, it had some cool gun battles, and I'll give it that honestly. And actually that was one of the first movies I ever saw where they actually did like legit mag changes in an AR-15, so or M4 variant, I guess it would be on that one since the guy was a U.S. Soldier or Navy SEAL, or I'm not sure exactly what he's supposed to be at that point though. But anyway, I don't think it really explained that one for that matter. I know it was Navy SEALs that saved his ass at the very end of it, is what it was though. Spoiler alert. But yeah, he did some legit mag changes in that. The thing about it is, though, it's funny because I had to go back a couple times because I was trying to count the rounds, to see if he actually did like drop an entire mag worth of ammo out of that before he tried to do like a mag change and stuff. And it's like, nah, dude, like he'll do it. Like it's funny because in one of the first firefights in that movie, he does it's like 21 or 22 shots, and you can tell the fucking bolt is still closed. And he sits there and he pops out one mag that acts like it's empty and shit like that, and then pops a new one in there. And then actually he's hitting the bolt release and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, that shit was closed the entire fucking time. Like that's clearly an editing fail on that one. And then there was other times where he would like reload and stuff, and instead of again hitting that bolt release and stuff, he would like yank back on the charging handle, and I'm just like, pretty sure you're not doing that in a thing, dude. Unless it's like literally the first magazine you're putting in there is what it is then. So anyway, yeah, there was definitely some weird 2A fails in that one for sure, but overall it wasn't bad though. So would I watch it a second time? Probably not, honestly. Because like I said, it was one of those movies I watched the preview, and it was like I assumed they were going to give most of it away in the preview kind of thing, and I was right. They kind of did actually. The best, most of the best parts of that movie were actually in the preview, unfortunately, for the actual trailer then. So, but yeah, if you want to see some dude being badass against what looks like a bunch of Taliban motherfuckers that are for some reason Egyptian instead of actually being Afghanistanian, like it's like, okay, that was one thing I did want to make a whole lot of sense about the movie actually. But yeah, it's like, yeah, if you want to watch something like that, go ahead and watch that. But honestly, like judging that versus actual Hollywood films like The Outpost or like Black Hawk Down or something like that, those are definitely superior films. And you could tell there was a lot bigger budget put into those movies than there was this one, obviously. So it is kind of comparing like apples to oranges and stuff. Like they're all fruit, obviously, but they're different grades of fruit, they're different qualities of fruit, they're different kinds of fruit, kind of things is what it is there. So anyway, but yeah, needless to say, it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next 6 months or so in this country, and see if this country does have a functioning what you call it. Let's see here. I have seen that too, and a lot of that's Bidenflation. Let's see what this said. Red Robin, $16 a burger, $3.50 a soda, $20 of that tip for cheese. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, are you even getting fries with that, or is that just like the burger itself and then like the drink? Because I think your fries are actually its own thing. If that be the case, or does it come with fries? Not like that, because I think it comes with bottomless fries, doesn't it? I'm wrong about that one. We almost went to Red Robin today, actually, because when she pulled into the place, she thought she was pulling into Five Guys, and it was actually Red Robin. And I'm just like, should we just eat here? And then I thought about it, I'm like, no, I kind of want Five Guys fries. So, yeah. I mean, it would have been the same thing, though. Like, Red Robin's pretty good, though, when it comes to their bottomless fries. The real problem is that I think they do kind of fuck you over in some ways. I'm going to say this right now because I'm going to go on a Red Robin rant for a minute. Here's what it is. I've been to that place about a dozen times or so in my entire life. The first time I was, I think was one of the last weeks I lived in Columbus, actually. And then every single time since then, it's always been with family and shit over the last 10 years or so, give or take. And the entire point is, though, you will sit there at a Red Robin or whatever the case be, and they'll have the bottomless fries and stuff like that. And you'll tell the waitress or waiter, whoever it is there, and be like, yeah, I want another refill on these or whatever the case be. And you'll think like, okay, they're going back to like do another one or whatever the case be. Meanwhile, you'll sit there and finish up like the couple that you had left or whatever the case be, like waiting for more, waiting for more, waiting for more. 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by. Now they're like, oh, here's your next order. And by then, your stomach has already started to fill itself with whatever you had eaten previously. And now you're getting full. So they're waiting just long enough for you to fill up to where you're like, I'm not going to eat all these is what it is now. So they're definitely trying to fuck you over is what it is, man, on the bottomless fry thing. Where if they had just brought them out in a timely manner, you could have actually had like another couple of them is what it would be then. And I've noticed that personally myself is what it is there. But yeah, I do like their drinks though. They have one there. It's I forget what it's called offhand. It's some kind of lemonade, if I'm not mistaken, where it's like some kind of like lemonade stuff, and then it's they'll put take a strawberry and like cut up an actual strawberry and put like strawberry slices into it then with it. And that's actually pretty good though. That being said, I definitely have gone there a couple times in the last 6-7 years now that you could tell that the strawberries they were using were either out of season or really shouldn't have been used at all is what it is, because they were like gross basically. And I had to like pull it out of because I had taken a sip of the drink and I was like, this tastes disgusting. And I noticed it's because they basically threw a rotten strawberry into the fucking drink and they're like, oh, I'm sorry about that. And then got me a new drink is what it was. So yeah, like in that case, like you definitely, if you're gonna order that drink, I would say order it when strawberries are in season, so you can have like the potentially freshest shit you're gonna get is what it is there. Versus, don't order that shit in like December in Ohio when nothing grows here is what it is, man. So it's like simple as that, really. But yeah, so it is what it is. But what the hell was I talking about now? I was trying to transition to something else, and mine just went completely out of it. Is what it is there. Oh yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about then. I'm gonna try to bring back the Oathbreaker series in the next couple weeks. Here's what it'll be for Christmas time, and start discussing like actual oath-breaking pieces of shit in this country. And actually, I might just start it actually in the next day or two. Here's what it is, because there are at least 2 county sheriffs in Ohio not named Charmaine McGuffey, who is the stupid fucking MDA cunt from Hamilton County, down where Cincinnati is there, and should never been allowed to be in office to begin with. There are 2 others now, and I believe it's Portage, and I forget what the other one is now, that are openly coming out against two-way sanctuary in the state of Ohio, and they can go fuck themselves, and they should be forced to resign from office immediately right now. And it's really time to out these oath-breaking sacks of shit, dude, and get better county sheriffs in this in this state and across this country, honestly, for that matter. And if that means you have a county sheriff that doesn't actually have law enforcement background, that's actually just a constitutionalist, people like myself is what it is. That's what it means, man. We should be the ones taking over these sheriff's offices. I mean, hell, we could be better cops than the fucking cops are at this point, dude. Seriously. Like you don't need a fucking like random BS fucking degree in like political science or whatever the hell it is there at some random university to be a fucking cop, man. You just don't. I mean, hell, look at the guys that killed Tyree Nichols, for God's sakes. 2 of those motherfuckers were fucking gangbangers, dude. Legitimately. You had the one who couldn't pass jack shit of a fucking test until they lowered the standards twice on it because he was so fucking dumb. You had the other guy who had like 2 or 3 felonies to his fucking record, but was still hired on to be a law enforcement officer in this country. And it's like, what the fuck? And then you wonder why they beat this guy to death. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing more and more in these major cities where they have these defund the police movements and stuff. You had these, and I'm not going to call them good cops, but I'm going to call them like everyday beat cops, I guess is the best way to describe them, honestly, where they were doing their job either effectively or semi-effectively. And then you had all this defund the police movement bullshit come out in the last 3-4 years now. Those guys have since retired, gone to live elsewhere, whatever the case be, or even retired from that force and gone to like a smaller town force, whatever the case be now. And meanwhile, the replacements of these dudes are the absolute worst pieces of shit possible who have no business even being in a fucking uniform with a badge on it. And then you wonder why you're getting like garbage policing in this country, dude. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, dude. It all correlates to like one fucking event, basically. And it was the fentanyl Floyd riots of 2020, honestly, dude. So, anyway. That being said, I'm going to check to see if there's anything else we want to talk about from the next couple minutes here. And if there's not, I'm just going to call it a day then. So I'll do a couple sweeps right now of both Breitbart and of Gateway Pundit and see if there's any stories of the day that I really want to talk about here or not. Oh, actually, that's one thing I want to talk about. George Santos, the guy that was expelled from Congress the other day, has now gone, quote-unquote, scorched earth and filed multiple complaints against the Rhino Saxon who ousted his ass. It's like, good, fuck him. Seriously. That's what I think is funny about the whole thing. But let's see. Breitbart, we got leftist outlets stroke fear of second Trump administration. Trump dictatorship is increasingly inevitable. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. What a joke. So we got Dems block request for Epstein flight logs, probably because those pedophiles are actually on them is what it is. Let's see. We got party nervous over Biden's slow campaign. Nikki Haley, savior for anti-Trumpers. No, that would be Vivek. That would be Vivek. Straight up, man. Nikki Haley is a neocon piece of shit. Fucking douchebag. Who should have already been arrested for multiple charges at this point, man. So, okay, here's the problem I have with this whole thing, right? So you had a bunch of leftists the other day come out of the woodwork and try to cancel this kid over blackface at a Chiefs game, and it turns out he's actually Native American at the end of the day. Mind you, he's a 9-year-old child. You got parents of 9-year-old Chiefs fan threaten lawsuit against far-left Deadspin. Don't threaten the lawsuit, motherfuckers. Go get a goddamn lawyer and fucking file it already. You should have been filing it days ago. Literally, the day after that shit came out, you should have immediately been like, hey, Deadspin, go fuck yourselves. We're suing the shit out of you right now, assholes, and we're taking every goddamn dime you fucking own. Hope you enjoy bankruptcy, fuckers. That's what it needs to be, man. This is exactly how the right wins, by the way. How the right and the center win against the fucking left and the far left of this country, dude. We take these fuckers out lawfare style. We find every loophole we possibly can with our own goddamn lawyers against the pieces of shit like Bloomberg and his fucking asshole mom's demand types, and we fucking nail those bitches to the fucking ground. And we take them for every dime they fucking have, man. Good luck having an anti-2A organization with how many fucking money behind it, bitches. Seriously. This is how you win the shit, man. You win it in the fucking court system. You take them and you drain them financially for every dime they have. It's as simple as that, really. Anyway, let's see. What else we got on Breitbart here? Let's see, you got porn targeting women makes up 98% of all deep fake images. That's interesting. See, we got more jump ship from DeSantis world, so he's basically losing people like crazy. Kiss reveals digital avatars replacing them after proposed final show. That's creepy. Got SCOTUS docket emergency application over assaultment's ban. I'm pretty sure this is the Illinois one. I know that what's her name was talking about bringing that up to an actual Amy Coney Barrett was talking about finally doing a job as a Supreme Court justice then. So hopefully that is the case on that one. Yep, that's what it is. Okay, it's Illinois. Yep, Illinois. Yes, the Supreme Court of the United States received and docketed an emergency application seeking the injunction against enforcement of Illinois' assaultment's ban while the appeal process is ongoing. So the case of National Association for Gun Rights, or NAGR, versus the city of Naperville, Illinois. Plaintiffs include the NAGR, Robert C. Beavis, and Law Weapons, Inc., and a couple other things there and stuff. It says plaintiffs seek an en banc hearing for the U.S. Appeals Court for 7th Circuit and an injunction against enforcement of the Protect Illinois Communities Act until the hearing is held. Like, what a joke, too. Like that, and that's another thing, too, by the way, the wordplay that Democrats use for shit like this, dude. It's like, oh, the Protect Illinois Communities Act. No, it's literally an AWB by any other name, asshole. It's just like that Go Safe bullshit that piece of shit Angus King came up with the other day, where it's like, oh, we're trying to ban these gas-powered semi-auto rifles and stuff. It's like, no, dude, you're just trying to ban so-called assault weapons is what it is, you fucking asshole, and you're just calling them by different names what it is now. So, anyway. We got vulnerable PA Dem blasted as ineffective by local paper, because he is, or she is. They all are, honestly, in many cases. Holy fuck. Supernatural star Mark Shepard, who was the guy who played Crowley, brought back to life after 6 heart attacks. I can only assume he was forced to get the old Jody jab there. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just guessing. So, because that guy's not that old, honestly. But anyway. Let's see what else we got here. Anything else I want to talk about for a couple minutes? All right. Nothing on Breitbart there. Let's check Gateway Pundit here. Thing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we got Hero Health worker turned whistleblower faces court after he exposes shocking number. Okay, never mind. Can't talk about that. you guys see what the rest of us says there. So never mind on that one. Then we got heroic LA homeowner guns down would-be burglar after 4 men break into his house with a grandmother and toddler inside. Police respond by arresting the homeowner. I think if this is the case, I'm thinking this is the one that happened here not long ago where they took the guy CCW and shit like that too. Or this might be a new one, actually, now I'm looking at it. Let's see. Los Angeles homeowner in custody early Wednesday after killing him. Okay, that's a different one, apparently. Jesus Christ, dude. Get the fuck out of California if you care about your safety and your gun rights, people. Seriously. Like, leave that shithole. For real, man. Because they hate your fucking guts. They hate your fucking gun rights. See, we got Fetterman trolls, battle Democrat Senator Bob Mendez with George Santos cameo. I don't understand how Mendez is still in office, or Eric Sowell for that matter at this point in history. This is actually sad. Remington closes up shop in New York after 200 years, heads for more welcoming red state. Yeah, they had a literal fucking factory in New York State for 200 fucking years since 1803, basically. And they're like, oh, you're fucking us over and our gun rights over? Well, we're just going to leave you now for a red state. It's just disgusting and pathetic, New York. Sons of bitches. Fuck you, Kathy Hunkle, you scumbag. Fucking demon witch. See how to join the secret boycott Patriots are using to crush woke companies. Good. Felony charges dropped. Junior election official accused of altering election results in 2020 to stand trial in January on single misdemeanor. What a fucking joke. Oh, for those who haven't heard about it, by the way, there were 2 pieces of shit in Georgia who actually were the assholes who burned down that Wendy's. By the way, Fannie Willis, the same bitch who's trying to indict Trump for like 75,000 counts, whatever it is now, literally allowed these fuckers to get away with a slap on the wrist. It was like 150 hours community service and like 5 years probation or something like that, and a couple $100 fine for literally torching a fucking business, dude, and admitting to torching a fucking business. Again, I'm so sick and tired of the 3 to 4 tier justices we have in place right now in this country, dude. Shit needs to stop immediately. So then we got disgusting. Jayapol won't condemn Hamas sexual violence as a tool of war because she supports that shit, and exactly why that piece of shit Jayapol should be out of this fucking country entirely, dude. Here's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, Fulton County judge issues $500 fine, no jail time for riders who set fire to Atlanta Wendy's during BLM riots. Fucking ridiculous, dude. Yet meanwhile, you got Owen Schroyer to be released Friday from prison for speech crimes and wrongthink. He's been in there for weeks now, by the way, in solitary confinement as far as I'm aware. Meanwhile, you got these pieces of shit over here who literally torched a fucking building. And yet, nope. Slap on the wrist, $500 fine, no jail time, 150 hours community service, 5 years probation. Fucking bullshit, dude, entirely. This is exactly why some things just need to be taken into higher crimes, is what it is, man, for real. So I'm going to go ahead and actually read that article before we leave. Here's what it is. Grab that thing now. Yes, this Fulton County judge has handed down lenient sentences consisting of $500 fines, no jail time for 2 riders involved in the burning down of the Atlanta Wendy's after Atlanta police officer shot and killed Rayshad Brooks in 2020. Kizum Kingston, who we can only assume is the black dude here, and Natalie White, the 2 convicted, were found guilty of conspiracy to commit arson, which should be a multiple fucking high crime felony, like at least 10 years in prison, if not more, and 2 counts of first-degree arson. So yeah, it should be at least like 10, 20 years in prison for each one of these assholes then. So they have been sentenced to 5 years probation, a $500 fine, and are required to complete 150 hours of community service. Like, what a fucking joke, dude. What an absolute fucking joke. Says in addition to Kingston and White, Wesley Wade, 35, was indicted on the same charges earlier this year in January. All 3 initially pled not guilty and waived their arraignments to March 2022, according to Atlanta Journal-Constitute. Said charges stem from a violent BLM riot over the death of Rayshad Brooks, 27, who was killed by police-involved shooting in June 2020 when he literally pulled one of their tasers out, by the way, and tried to fire it at them, and then it killed his ass in self-defense. That's what it was. So as a result, riders torched the Wendy's in protest of Brooks' death. An autonomous zone was created at that site and was dismantled by police a few days later. Violent demonstrations followed throughout the city over the next few months. So here's what people don't talk about, by the way. This whole thing right here with the whole autonomous zone that was at that fucking burned out Wendy's location. There was a little girl named Sequoia Turner, who I believe was 8 or 9 years old at the time of her death, in that fucking place. Her parents were simply driving home that night, took a wrong turn. Piece of shit BLM terrorist opened fucking fire on the car of these people, killing this little girl in the back seat. And yet, meanwhile, never made national news coverage, never made fucking, wall-to-wall footage for days on end. No. The guys who killed her were brought up on murder charges, thankfully. And as far as I'm aware, they got them all right now in Georgia State Prison currently. But the entire point is, it's like, how many people actually know that girl's story? Not many. Unless they're watching my podcast, is what it is, and listening to me talk about it is what it is then. It's like the same thing with Ace Lucas, man. How many people know the name Ace Lucas here? I guarantee not many. This was a kid who was killed a couple months after the BLM riots here in Canton, Ohio. It was, I believe, July or August of 2020. And he was in his home. Mind you, he was, I believe, 18 months old at the time. In his home asleep. His little brother sitting next to him, who was his twin, in a crib or wherever it was they were at in the living room there of their father's place. 3 piece of shit gangbangers tripping over kids' toys outside the fucking house, unload fucking firearms into the home, kill Ace, fuck up his brother, hurt a couple other kids in the situation. There is what it is. Only one of these assholes has ever been tried in the state right now. The other one's never been found to be tried. A lot of people think they were actually gangbangers that were called in from Chicago area because apparently Ace's dad ripped him off is what it was. He had stolen a bunch of weed and I believe some money from him is what it is there. And then, of course, Aaron Lucas, who was Ace's father, when he was going to testify to his son's murder at the murder trial of the piece of shit who killed his son, he gets gunned down in fucking broad daylight and no fucking buddy was arrested since then. It just, oh my God, dude, it just infuriates the hell out of me entirely, man. It's like, when is enough enough, Like, at what point is enough enough? At what point do we say, fucking no, fucking stop? Like, deal with this shit accordingly. Death penalty sentencing across the board is what it needs to be for some of these fucking people, dude. So, anyway. But yeah, it just fucking infuriates the hell out of me, dude. Then we got Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has expressed intense displeasure with the decision for those pieces of shit that burned out the Wendy's, citing the more stringent punishments handed down to those involved in the Capitol riot in January 6, 2021. Said, quote, J6ers are being locked up for years for walking into the U.S. Capitol, and some never even walked inside at all. But these guys who pled guilty to arson and burned down a fucking Wendy's in Atlanta in 2020 BLM riots not only or only have to pay a $500 fine, she wrote. Said scales of justice have tipped so hard one way, they have fallen off. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, dude. It's just fucking ridiculous is what it is, dude. Oh, actually, this is a good one from the End Wokeness Twitter account there. Yeah, it says, our justice system in a nutshell. We got Fulton County judge gives $500 fine, no jail time to riders who burned down Atlanta Wendy's during BLM riots. On the flip side, elderly pro-life women face 11 years in jail for protesting an abortion clinic. I feel like Satan has won at this point. I really do some days, man. Because it's shit like that right there, right? 11 years for protesting outside of a fucking mass murder clinic. Yet, meanwhile, you got pieces of shit who are literally burning down fucking buildings and getting, go pay your $500 fine. Like, what the fuck, man? It's just fucking psychotic is what it is. I think this shit's only going to go on as long as we let it go on is what it is, though. So, anyway. Actually, that was kind of a good one. Somebody put in the comment section there for that. It was justices in our current world, and then somebody taking like an eye off the thing to look at who's basically behind it. It's funny. Yeah, sounds about right. Let's see what somebody else here says. Absolutely disgusting, and people wonder why the respect of the FBI and legal system is at a historic low. I'd say law enforcement entirely on that one too, for that matter. Yeah, just a fucking joke, dude. Let's see. This person said, right to revolt was famously articulated in the Declaration of Independence, which declared that, quote, whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter and to abolish it. It's ironic that somebody said that there because the state of Ohio actually has something similar to that on our books right now. It's Article 1, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution, where you can basically remove people in the General Assembly from office right now for failing to do their job is what it is there. So, anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're definitely in a broken world right now. Let's see what this guy here said. This is from September 19th. Said, liberals love crime and criminals. We're the ones they'd like to see in jail. Nick Fuentes thinks conservatives need to be comfortable with presenting an alternative way of living with law and order in a moral society, even if it means they call us fascists. And I've talked about that before. Actually, it's interesting because I mentioned that a couple years ago actually on this channel, and then several times since then. That's what it is. Where the whole, and I mentioned it the other day. Come think about it now, think about it. The whole pendulum swing thing, where I talked about the pendulum, swinging one final time and then snapping, and then basically taking everybody out in its wake is what it is there. I think that's what you're going to see, honestly, because you basically have had the left prime us to a point right now in history where the only fucking solution that will come down a pipe in a future president, dude, would be a fascist dictator. Legitimately. It would be like, nope, off with their fucking heads. And that's the one thing that I fear the most personally. Because it's like, who's to say that they would stop with the crazy ass leftist then? Who's to say that person's not going to come for me next or something, dude? Oh, you had the wrong think on any political side of the fucking aisle or whatever the case be? Okay, well, off to the gallows with you now is what it is then, kind of thing. Like, that's a scary fact right there, honestly. So, like, people wonder how people like Hitler or Stalin or Mao or Pol Pot or any of these dictators throughout history came to power, dude. It's because of shit like this right now. It's because you've had a system put in place and been disrespected to the point where you have this multi-tiered justice systems and stuff to where people finally had enough and they put their foot down and were like, nope, fuck that. And then you had a bunch of motherfuckers killed in death camps then, is what it is. So, I don't know, you know? It's all wrong, obviously. It really is. It's truthfully, like, it's wrong, it's evil, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, how close are we to it happening is what it is, dude. And I think we're very close right now. You know, it's like you have the left fucking flipping out about Trump being like a dictator in the second term, whatever the case be. Yet, meanwhile, they don't realize is it's not Trump you got to worry about, dude. It's somebody else. It's a Vivek Ramaswamy potentially getting into power, or somebody like that. Or hell, I would say Nikki Haley personally because she's a neocon piece of crap is what it is, dude. But no, like Vivek, if he was a Manchurian candidate and stuff like that, legitimately, he's saying all the right things to get into power, whatever the case be. And then who's to say he's not going to go fucking full dictator when he gets in there if that be the case then, or something like that, you know? And I'll stop right there because I don't need to further swatting like I had with Andrew Yang, 4 years ago is what it is, man. So anyway, but no, Vivek, he is very charismatic. I'm not gonna lie, man. The guy, he definitely feels like a cult leader, though, is what it is. Like I can see him swaying people to his side and then just being like, sort of like Jim Jones, like, "Hey, have a cup of Kool-Aid, bro," kind of thing is what it is. I kid, but not really though. I actually bring up Jonestown too, for that matter, because I believe it was like last week or the week before that was actually the anniversary of it. So sad day in the U.S. history, man. When you had this fucking nutter overseas kill a bunch of people and stuff like that followed his nutty ass. So anyway, that being said, it's almost 7:00 my time, so I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner, which this is gonna be part of it right now, and then I'm gonna have some other stuff here that I was going to make into a sandwich is what it was about an hour ago and never got a chance to yet because I've been doing this whole time. But yeah, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to make myself a sandwich and have some cold fries with it basically. And they're not bad cold. They're hot, obviously, but I don't feel like heating them up right now is what it is. Because again, it changes the consistency when you recook them is what it is then. So, but anyway, I'm going to finish those off and then have a sandwich with it. Then is what it'll be. And then it'll be dinner for the night. And then I'll be most likely on watching NEA's podcast in a couple hours here. It'll be then, as long as I'm awake then. Which, like I said, I apologize again for not doing my takeover chat for Honda last night. But dude, if you knew where I was at that point, and the way my eye was all fucked up and shit, like you'd understand, and you wouldn't even ask me about, why did you do the cast last night, bro? It's like, yeah, because my eye was all fucked up, man. Legitimately, I literally couldn't see until like about 10 minutes before I would have started. And then at that point I was already in bed about to go to sleep then. So anyway, but yeah, today was interesting. Tomorrow should be better and we'll be back though. Oof, man, getting a little sleepy right now actually. But no, I'll be back legitimately for Thursday, Friday series, Buckshot Thursday, Freedom Friday, etc. Depending on how tomorrow goes, I might do a special grandstand about the Ohio General Assembly and see if they actually did House Bill 51, which will be the Second Amendment Preservation Act, or not. Then, if they did, that'll definitely be a cast immediately. Then after that, and if they didn't, if they just did a bunch of other stuff and stuff like that, I might just do like a Wednesday cast or something like that. Discuss what happened there. Yes, tomorrow then, which would have been yesterday in that cast itself then. So yeah, it'll be tomorrow from here, and then for that Wednesday cast, it would be what happened previously, the previous day. That's what it would be. So 2 days in the future it would be then. So anyway, but yeah, needless to say, I am going to do another review, by the way, for Amazon stuff because I recently got a bag in for Christmas is what it is. And it's a nice little go bag. So I want to do a review on this bag. I did not realize that this had like 2 holes in it to put like some kind of paracord stuff in a couple of places for like extra carrying or whatever. Then I don't like that at all, and I wish they did not have those holes in there. Is what it is, because it's very annoying, especially depending on what you want to put in that bag. So I might just have to put something through that if that be the case, and just do a little knot and some paracord that I have sitting around or whatever the case be, and just like stick that through there and then just loop it around somehow, whatever the case be, to the other side then if that be the case. So, but anyway, yeah, that being said, though, the bag itself is decently sized, and it's definitely one of those ones where for people like myself, I'm gonna preface it like this before I go today. For people like myself that can't actually find a mag carrier in our size because we're such a big person, is what it is. These kind of bags are perfect for doing like mags into and having it be just like an alternative to that, if that be the case. So, and if you live in a free state that has constitutional carry in it, you can actually have the bag on you and have a gun hidden in the fucking back of the bag, kind of thing, is what it is there. And I tested this yesterday, and yes, it will fit a full size handgun in it. Well, not a full size handgun. It'll fit I want to say Taurus G2Cs or subcompacts, but it had a 17 round mag in it though, so it technically was almost the size of a Glock then. If you have like a Glock 17, Glock 19 with a full size mag in it then. So yeah, it could potentially fit any kind of like that. In it is what it is then. So, but yeah, that'll be its own thing in the future. Here's what it'll be. And other than that, that's where I'm at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will be back, like I said, probably either tomorrow night or sometime on Wednesday, most likely. We'll probably do Wednesdays, what it is then. And like I said, unless something like crazy happens where, it's immediate breaking news kind of shit, then if that be the case for state level stuff. But if it's not like immediate breaking news kind of stuff, it'll just be, we'll hold off until the next day. And that's what it is. And then we'll just talk. We might just talk about it tomorrow on Honda's chat, if that be the case then, for his 2A Taco Tuesday. Then if it, the shit does pass, we can talk about 2A stuff a little bit then. It's like, yeah, bro, you're talking about getting the hell out of Colorado. Come to Ohio, man. We're getting all kinds of 2A shit over here. Kind of stuff. Help us keep it is what it is then. So anyway, but yeah, I half kid, honestly, I would like to see Honda come to the state if he does ever move. So because I think he'd like Ohio, honestly. It's not too much different from Colorado, honestly, if we're being serious, man. I mean, we still have the same kind of winters and stuff like that. We still have, a lot of the same seasons and shit. So, and plus, it'd be cool to have him as a neighbor in this state potentially, like not locally, obviously. Like I don't know where he'd go up, where he'd end up actually, if that be the case. But I mean, he might be one of my neighbors for all the fuck I know. Then, you never know, man. Buy some land not far from me or something like that. We just hang out and stuff and do casts together and shit. Then that'd be kind of funny. So, although I'm sure he'd get sick of me after a while, is what it is then. But nah, he's a good guy though. He's a good guy. He's a good cat, man. He was there for me when I needed him, just like Corey and a lot of those other guys were when I was falsely slandered last year by Guns and Barbecue and all those dudes. So, and yeah, I've had him for those guys. I might not be here is what it is, and that's all I'm gonna say about that one. So I definitely owe them my existence on this earth continuing. So anyway, but that being said, like I said, hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I will be back probably most likely on Wednesday to discuss state level matters and stuff like that. And then we'll do Buckshot Thursday and then Freedom Friday, and then may or may not do Stand Your Ground Saturday. Then I really like to do that stuff, but unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it is becoming something where it is just like I really do, honestly, like I really, really do want to do that. But for me anymore, it's just like, dude, it's too much. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just like, okay, I really want to do this today or whatever the case be. And then it turns out like, oh, I can do this today, but oh, I actually can't do this today kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it just becomes a whole fucking mess is what it really is. So, and unfortunately, with the way that NEA's casts are and stuff like that, he either goes a little bit too late or goes into like this weird position where he drops early, and then there's not enough time between the time that he ends and the time I would start. Then is what it is for me to really redo the cast, and is what it is. So it's like a whole fucking mess then. So, yeah, I don't know, man. But either way, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. And like I said, I will be back at some point in the near future for some stuff, and we'll be doing some 2A things and some other stuff for that matter, and getting stuff done is what it is, man. And if we can actually get some wins here to stay at level, that'd be nice. It'd be really, really nice, because then we can actually start doing things correctly is what it is then. And if we can do those things correctly, we can actually win this whole war then. And, it could be a war without a shot of being fired then. Versus, having to deal with people's bullshit and just the constant scumbaggery and dick fuckery and everything else like that. And dick suckery for that matter even. That we're dealing with currently and constantly, and just it seems like we're being bombarded on a daily basis with, man. And I'm not a fan of it. Never have been a fan of it, never will be a fan of it. And you just have people that just hate this country and hate this world, and just it's like, if they really hate these places, just get the hell out of them, dude. Seriously. We don't want you here, we don't need you here, just leave. And everything will be better off then. But you're not going to do that because you're a fucking sack of shit. And that's the problem right now with these people, dude. They just don't understand that they are the problem. And everything will be better off without them here is what it is. So. But yeah, that's where we're at for the day, though. And like I said, we'll be back for another one at some point in the future. And hopefully by then my health will be back to 100, and I'll be able to actually do some stuff. That is what it is, and be able to get everything going again. And if I can add some stuff to the series and stuff like that, I would like to. But anymore, it's even sometimes difficult for me to just do some of these, dude. Where it's here and there and elsewhere is what it is then. So. Definitely want to keep my stuff good to go, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I can actually, actually go is what it is, if I have to. So, yeah. Needless to say, things will definitely be more interesting in the future, and I think it's only a matter of time right now before we actually have insanity pop off across the board right now, and you actually just see this country completely break down to nothingness. So anyway, but yeah, as people have said, if the time has come, it might be 1776 again, man. And if that's the case, then so be it. Pick a side, make sure you're on the right side is what it is, man. A lot of people have already chosen their side, and I think they've chosen the wrong side, unfortunately for them. But, again, that was their own choice, so I can't make that for them. They had to make that choice themselves, and they chose poorly is what it is in many cases. So it is what it is right now, man. And it's really as simple as that. But anyway. Other than that, though, I'm about to get out of here because I got some stuff I got to do. And other than that, like I said, I'll be back here at some point, probably Wednesday, most likely. And I will be discussing local state level affairs, and then Buckshot Thursday. I do want to do the Eli Dicken case on Thursday, then this coming Thursday, because we were going to do that this week. We never got a chance to freaking actually do that because everything went down and family issues and stuff like that happened. But yeah, I definitely want to do the Eli Dicken self-defense encounter and exactly how interesting and sort of off the wall Eli's self-defense really was that day that people don't even realize, honestly, like how truly amazing it actually was. And had it not been for him being armed that day in that mall, you would have had a much, much worse massacre happen that day than the few people that actually did lose their lives then. So, anyway, that man, honestly, if the state of Indiana did their job, that man should have a day dedicated to him, is what it is. Man is a national hero. And that would be for stopping a fucking mass murdering maniac, is what it is. And I would say the exact same thing about Rittenhouse, for that matter. There should be a national day to remember Kyle Rittenhouse and his heroic actions that night to save his own life against a bunch of BLM terrorists. So, but unfortunately, again, our society seems to be too pussified in actually doing that kind of stuff. And in actually giving these people the props they deserve, is what it is, man. And that's for people like me coming out, honestly, because we will give them the props they deserve, is what it is. Eli did nothing wrong. Kyle did nothing wrong. They both stopped things in their tracks, and the people that they took out of this world were some of the biggest scum in it. And this world is better off without those people in it, is what it is now. And it's as simple as that, really. And that's the end of that story. And that's all I'm say about the end of the day. So, anyway, my best advice for tonight would be in about 2 hours to go check out Never Enough Ammo. He has a cast coming up tonight there. They usually do a panel of some very interesting topics where it'll start out as somebody asking a question about guns, and then all of a sudden it turns into dildos 10 minutes later for some reason. So, anyway, or something stupid like that, or like guacamole on a chick's pussy or something like that. I don't know if that ever came up. Actually, I don't know if that ever was a thing or not. I'm just making up jokes now, but yeah, no, seriously though. They've done some weird ass fucking topics in those ones, dude. I never really understood some of that shit. It's just like, yeah, it's just weird. So, but yeah, it's funny though. Like how you can go from like one thing to another thing to like another thing entirely. And it's like, how the hell did you transition from this to that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it really honestly doesn't. It makes no fucking logical sense at all. Like, how in the hell you're able to transition from like this thing to that thing. And then when you realize it's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense now. And then you go back and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, because they were talking about this thing or whatever, and then somebody brought up some other stupid shit, and it kind of got railroaded into the conversation. That's what it is. And unfortunately, that's what half these conversations are anymore, dude. It's just like, you know, something starts out as something that needs to be talked about or whatever the case be, and then it turns into like just stupid shit. So, but for those interested, I'm going to go to my mom before we leave today, actually. She is doing okay today. From my understanding, they had to do some stuff because she was having they had given her some solid food to eat the other day, and it apparently went down the wrong section of her body, I guess, or something, and ended up partially in her lungs. So they had to like put her back on like a respirator now over the weekend, and then they end up suctioning all that shit out of her lung area and getting her back off the respirator here. It was, I think, last night or this morning then, and giving her some kind of breathing treatment. And then she was supposed to be doing some other stuff. And now she's basically, as far as I'm aware, she is still doing good right now. And from my understanding, she'll be in the hospital at least a couple more weeks now. And then it'll be, she'll be having to go to rehab then after that is what it'll be for who knows how long. So we're hoping and we're optimistic that it'll be, you know, a few months and then she'll be back home. Here's what it is, and can hopefully get back to probably not where she was ever at again, just because, you know, having a massive fucking heart issues like that and having a massive surgery at her age sucks, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, hopefully she can get, you know, at least back to something, back to some some semblance of normal, and hopefully be able to do some things that she was able to do previously at some capacity anyway. Because I know there's a lot of things that she truly does love and did love, and I would hate to see it be something where she can't do any of that stuff anymore just because of all this shit then, if that be the case. So, but like I said, only time will tell right now, and, hoping and praying, and, all prayers are welcome. And, we pray for her continued recovery and her being able to be brought back to us in due time is what it is, really. Because I do miss her is what it is, man. Legitimately. And it feels weird being here by myself without her for this long, because it's one thing if it's like, I knew that she was like hanging out with family, whatever the case be, she was just gone for like a week or so or whatever it was. But like knowing that she's hospital bound with serious health issues right now and can't do anything about that, it kind of does have me fluxing out is what it is right now of, just the emotional roller coaster, I guess is the best way to describe it. So, and maybe that's one reason why I haven't done a whole lot of casts this week, honestly, is just because, I don't really feel up to doing that stuff, honestly, man. I know I've lost a lot of sleep over this whole thing, honestly, for that matter, too. So that could be some of it as well. And, a lot of things could be determining factors for that matter. But either way, I am very much in a situation right now where I would like to see her be able to return home as soon as possible. I would like to see her be able to get back on her feet and be able to, do what needs to be done here. And basically be the mother I remember, what it is, which I don't think that's ever going to happen, unfortunately. But, as close to that, if that be the case, and we can actually have, something change. So, but yeah, anyway. That being said, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and make something to eat here and, finish up what's left of these then. And go from there, basically. And other than that, that is where I'm at for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed my little rant about restaurant increasing food prices and just the craziness stuff. And yeah, I don't think we're ever going to make it back to where we once were. And I think you're going to see, unfortunately, a lot more chain places go out of business. And I think you're going to see a lot of other chain places actually take over their places, what it is. And maybe it will be something totally different. Maybe it will be a complete revolution then, where, maybe Taco Bell will win the food wars. Maybe it'll be Pizza Hut that'll win the food wars kind of thing, go full Demolition Man and stuff like that. And then we're all eating rat burgers in the fucking sewer at some point in the future because all meat's banned, kind of thing. So I kid, but not really, honestly, dude. And that's a scary fucking thought, man. I mean, hell, you already got that bitch cooking rats on the New York fucking streets and stuff like that a few months back is what it was there. Those never seen that video. It's fucking crazy, man. That some woman literally, like, you have the rats fucking like splayed out dead, and she has like a fucking grill thing that she's just rotating with her hands. And it's like, god damn, man. Like, what the fuck? So, like, shit's fucking hardcore, man. So, anyway. But, yeah. If we get down to that point in time in history, like, things have definitely taken a really, really fucking dark turn, honestly. Like, shit's taking a dark turn down a dark alley is what it is at that point, man. Because, yeah, shit's about to go sideways completely. So, anyway. But, yeah, needless to say, that's where we're at for the day, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Okay. Sorry, just checking some of the comments from a little bit ago there. Yeah, nothing really to just people commenting what I was saying at the time, whatever then. About not doing a chat last night and whatnot. So, but yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some changes happen in this country very quickly. I could easily see us, depending on how far this nation falls and stuff, just going like full tribalism, and it basically becoming, like tribal warfare across the board. Then, and it's like, oh, if you're not part of this tribe, you're not part of this state, kind of thing. If that be the case, even maybe where, maybe it is racial, maybe it is just political something rather than. So, who knows? Who knows? Only time will tell. Only time will determine the factors of life. Only time will actually show us exactly how crazy this society will become and how fucking nuts everybody in it has become and everything else like that, and how truly evil we have allowed in our midst is what it is right now, because I believe we are definitely looking at pure evil in many cases, in many factors across the board right now. And you have a lot of crazy motherfuckers who don't want to see it, yet it is right there in front of their fucking face. So, anyway. But yeah, needless to say, I think we're at a precipice in American history right now where at some point you will see this country take a sharp turn in one direction or another. And I believe that sharp turn currently is only a matter of time for it to happen again. And when it does, that's going to be the truly, truly interesting thing of this nation, because you're going to see how crazy shit really becomes and how quickly things can descend into complete and total chaos without even the hesitation of certain individuals who have been 100% perpetrating behind it, is what it is. So, anyway, till later. I will be back, like I said, on Wednesday for another cast. Thursday, we will do Buckshot Thursday by Eli, self-defense encounter for real this time. Friday, not sure what Freedom Friday is going to be about yet. Tomorrow night, though, I will be on Honda's chat, as long as he has one, and talking just, 2A stuff. And then I'm sure, given the fact that how a lot of those have descended into it's always pedophiles kind of thing, I'm sure it'll descend into it's always pedophiles kind of thing, because I might just gear one up into the chamber for that one, dude, and be like, hey, look at this stuff kind of thing. And then it's like a whole fucking thing about, it's like some story about like some government official being busted for something or whatever the case be. And Honda's like, damn it, why do we always bring it back to pedophiles? So, this is supposed to be about 2A, motherfucker. But, yeah, it's just funny. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, interesting. Actually, now that I'm looking at this one here, before we go today, I was wanted to talk about this one. Actually, McDonald's spinoff, Cause Mix, set to open in Chicago suburb. That sounds interesting. So, makes sense. I guess I could actually see that being like the people that actually founded McDonald's for real the first time around or whatever, and it being like their family or their descendants or whatever it is there. Anyway, but yeah, that being said, that's where we're at for the night. And other than that, go check out NEA's cast in about 90 minutes, give or take. And from there, that's where I will be at tonight for a little bit anyway. And be doing some various, stuff on the other side is what it is here. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good night, y'all. Always be carrying one in the chamber, and never forget you are your own first responder. There is nobody coming to save your ass. The cops are literally just a cleanup crew for after the incident happens. Do not be the person that loses your life to some piece of shit or some gang of pieces of shit. Defend yourself because your life will always be more important than theirs is, and it's as simple as that. Later, y'all.